The message arrived on a Tuesday. In the depths of mission control at the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, the computers detected something unusual, a pattern that didn't match any known terrestrial source. At first, the technicians thought it was a glitch, but after 3 days of analysis, the truth became undeniable. It was a distress signal from somewhere beyond our solar system. Commander Alex Green sat across from Admiral Wilson, hands steady on the conference table despite the weight of what he'd just been told. "You're certain this is genuine?" Alex asked, studying the signal analysis on his tablet. The Admiral nodded. "Every test confirms it. We're hearing from someone out there, and they need help." Alex ran a hand through his short brown hair, processing the implications. At 42, he had spent his career preparing for a moment humanity had only theorized about. First contact was no longer a question of if, but how. "Why me?" he asked, though he already suspected the answer. "The UES Harbinger is our most advanced vessel, and you're our most level-headed commander," the Admiral replied. "If humanity is going to meet an alien species for the first time, I want you leading that handshake." 3 days later, Dr. Olivia Wright arrived at the lunar shipyard, where the Harbinger waited. Through the shuttle viewport, she caught her first glimpse of the massive vessel, nearly a kilometer long, its smooth hull reflecting the distant Earth. Unlike the clunky, utilitarian designs of earlier spacecraft, the Harbinger represented the pinnacle of human engineering. "Impressive, isn't it?" asked the shuttle pilot. Olivia nodded, adjusting her glasses. "Let's hope we're using it for the right reasons." As Earth's leading xenobiologist, Olivia had spent years theorizing about potential alien biology. Now, facing the reality of meeting actual extraterrestrials, she worried about humanity's approach. The military presence concerned her. The shuttle docked, and Olivia stepped onto the Harbinger for the first time. She was immediately met by a tall man with kind eyes and a commander's uniform. "Dr. Wright, welcome aboard. I'm Commander Green." "Commander," she acknowledged with a nod. "I hope we're approaching this as scientists first, soldiers second." Alex smiled. "That's exactly why you're here. We're answering a distress call, not looking for a fight." Over the next week, 5 warships and 2 science vessels assembled in Earth orbit. News of the mission spread across the planet, triggering everything from celebrations to protests. Some saw it as humanity's greatest adventure. Others feared it would bring destruction. In New York, demonstrators gathered outside the United Nations building, holding signs reading "Stay Home" and "Earth First." Meanwhile, in Beijing, thousands released paper lanterns into the night sky, each carrying messages of peace and greeting to whoever might be waiting among the stars. On the final night before departure, Alex stood in the Harbinger's observation deck, watching Earth below. The blue planet seemed suddenly small and fragile. "Beautiful view," said Olivia, joining him. "Hard to believe we're about to leave it all behind," Alex replied. "The Nilari," Olivia said, referencing the name they'd decoded from the signal. "I wonder what they're like." "I guess we'll find out." Alex turned from the viewport. "Get some rest, Doctor. Tomorrow we make history." The next morning, as billions watched from screens across Earth, the human fleet activated their newly developed wormhole generators. Space itself seemed to fold before them, opening into a swirling tunnel of light. Commander Alex Green gave the order that would change humanity forever. "All ships, forward. Let's go meet our neighbors." The wormhole swallowed the human fleet in a brilliant flash of light. Inside, reality bent around them in ways no human had ever experienced. Colors that had no names swirled outside the viewports, while the ship's systems struggled to make sense of their surroundings. Flight Officer Kate Rodriguez gripped the controls of the UES Harbinger tighter than necessary. Despite thousands of simulation hours, nothing had prepared her for the actual sensation of wormhole travel. "How are we looking, Flight?" Commander Green asked from the command chair. "Holding steady, sir," Kate replied, her eyes never leaving her instruments. "Though I wouldn't mind if this tunnel had some lane markers. A small laugh rippled through the tense bridge. Even in the face of the unknown, humans found room for humor. 3 days into their journey, strange things began to happen. Equipment malfunctioned for no apparent reason. Crew members reported vivid dreams of alien landscapes. The ship's AI struggled with simple calculations. In the science lab, Dr. Olivia Wright noticed something odd about the original distress signal. When played at 1/10 speed and filtered through a quantum algorithm, additional data emerged. "Commander, you need to see this," she called Green over the comm. When he arrived, Olivia pointed to her screen. "There's more to the message than we initially detected. It's not just a distress call, it's a warning." "Warning about what?" asked Green, leaning closer. "I'm not sure yet. The translation is incomplete. But I think the Nilari aren't just asking for help against a natural disaster. They're asking for protection." Security Chief Derek Mason didn't like the sound of that. The former Marine stood with arms crossed, his dark eyes narrowing. Protection from what? Or who? "That's the question," Olivia replied softly. In the mess hall that evening, communications specialist Ethan Powell sat with Kate and Derek, picking at his food. "Anyone else feel like we're being watched?" Ethan asked, glancing around the empty corners of the room. Kate rolled her eyes. "It's space, Powell. Nobody's watching except maybe some microbes." "I'm serious," Ethan insisted. "When I'm monitoring communications, I sometimes hear whispers, like someone's talking just beyond the range of our sensors." Derek's expression remained neutral, but he'd noticed something too. Shadow movements at the edge of his vision during security rounds. Nothing concrete enough to report, but enough to keep his sidearm close. On the 7th day, Commander Green called his senior staff to the bridge. "We exit the wormhole in approximately 6 hours, he announced. "Dr. Wright has discovered additional information in the Nilari signal that suggests we may be entering a conflict zone. All ships will emerge at combat readiness, but weapon systems remain offline until I give the order." "Sir," Derek began, with respect, "if there's a threat." "We still don't know enough," Green cut him off. "We represent Earth. I won't fire the first shot of humanity's interstellar relations." As the exit point approached, the fleet prepared. Science vessels positioned themselves behind the warships. Crews checked equipment one final time. In the quiet of her quarters, Olivia reviewed everything they knew about the Nilari. A peaceful, technologically advanced species according to the fragments they'd decoded. The final minutes of wormhole travel stretched like hours. Kate counted down the seconds aloud. Her voice steadied despite her racing heart. 3, 2, 1. The swirling tunnel disappeared, replaced by open space and chaos. Before them, dozens of ships engaged in battle. Smaller vessels with elegant curved designs flood from larger, angular warships that fired relentlessly. Explosions bloomed silently against the backdrop of an unfamiliar starfield. "Oh my God," someone whispered on the bridge. Sensors confirmed those smaller ships matched Nilari design patterns, Ethan reported, his fingers flying across his console. Commander Green stood from his chair, taking in the scene before him. Humanity had arrived at its first contact with alien life, only to find them fighting for survival. "All ships, maintain position," he ordered. "And someone tell me who the hell is attacking our new friends." "Scan complete, Commander," Ethan reported, his voice tight with tension. The larger vessels belonged to something called the Vex Dominion, according to Nilari emergency broadcasts we're picking up. Commander Green watched the battle unfold before them. The elegant Nilari ships, despite their advanced technology, were clearly outmatched. Their movements suggested defensive tactics rather than offensive strikes. "They're not fighting back," Dr. Wright observed, standing beside Green. "They're just trying to escape." A massive Nilari vessel, clearly a civilian transport by its design, drifted helplessly as 3 Vex warships surrounded it. The transport's engines flickered weakly, attempting to restart. "Sir," Kate called from her station. That transport is broadcasting life sign readings, thousands of them. Civilians, based on the patterns. Green's jaw tightened. He had come to make contact, not to witness a massacre. 7 minutes into their arrival, and humanity already faced its first interstellar moral test. Security Chief Mason. Ready defensive systems only. Flight Officer Rodriguez. Plot and intercept course to that transport. Sir, Direct questioned, his hand hovering over the weapons console. You heard me. We're not going to sit and watch a slaughter. Green turned to address the entire bridge. This isn't what we planned for, but sometimes you don't get to choose your entrance. Let's show them what humanity stands for. The UES Harbinger surged forward, its massive form cutting through space toward the stranded Nilari transport. The rest of Earth's fleet followed in tight formation. Open a channel to the Nilari, Green ordered. Channel open, sir, Ethan confirmed. Nilari vessel, this is Commander Alex Green of Earth. We receive your distress call and are moving to assist. Please acknowledge. For several seconds, only static answered. Then a voice, melodic but clearly stressed, responded in surprisingly good English. Earth vessel, we acknowledge. We did not expect. We are grateful. Hold tight. Green replied. We're coming to you. As the human fleet approached, the Vex warships broke off their attack on the transport and turned toward this new arrival. They're scanning us, sir, Ethan reported. And now they're opening a channel. Put them through. A harsh, guttural voice filled the bridge. Unknown vessels. This conflict is not your concern. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. Green stood taller. This is Commander Green of Earth. We're responding to a distress call from the Nilari. We intend to render humanitarian assistance. The Nilari are criminals against the Dominion, the Vex commander growled. Any interference will be considered an act of war. Green muted the channel and turned to Dr. Wright. What do we know about either side here? Olivia shook her head. Almost nothing concrete, but from what we're seeing, the Nilari aren't fighting back even when attacked. The Vex seem to be the aggressors. Green unmuted the channel. We don't recognize your authority in this matter. We will protect the civilian transport. The Vex response was immediate, a warning shot that blazed past the Harbinger's bow. All ships, defensive positions, Green ordered. Protect that transport. No offensive fire unless directly attacked. The Earth fleet spread out, forming a barrier between the Nilari transport and the Vex warships. For a tense moment, everyone waited to see what would happen next. Sir, the Vex ships are powering up weapons, Derek reported. Hold position, Green commanded. The lead Vex vessel fired, not a warning this time, but a direct hit on the Harbinger's shields. The bridge shook slightly, but the advanced defenses held. Return fire. Disable their weapon systems only, Green ordered. Earth's ships responded with precision, their weapons more effective than either alien species seemed to expect. Within minutes, the Vex vessels retreated to a safe distance, clearly reassessing the situation. The Nilari transport is hailing us, Ethan said. An image appeared on the main screen, a slender, blue-skinned being with large, expressive eyes. The alien bowed slightly. On behalf of the Nilari Collective, I thank you, it said. I am First Speaker Liren. You have saved many lives today, and perhaps changed the balance of power in this region of space forever. Green nodded respectfully. We had a lot to discuss. First Speaker. Behind him, Dr. Wright whispered. And just like that, humanity has entered the galactic stage. The Vex fleet emerged from hyperspace like a storm front. 17 warships arranged in perfect attack formation. Their hulls were angular and dark, absorbing rather than reflecting light, making them appear as moving shadows against the stars. They're not wasting time, Kate observed from her flight station as warning signals flashed across her console. All ships, defensive pattern Delta, Commander Green ordered. The Earth vessels moved in response, creating a protective formation around the Nilari transport. Lyran stood at the rear of the bridge, watching with both fascination and dread. The formation they're using, it's designed to overwhelm. They'd used it to destroy entire defense fleets. We're not a defense fleet, Green replied calmly. Chief Mason, status. Derek's hands moved steadily across his console, shield harmonics cycling as planned. Weapons charged but cold. Let them make the first move, Green said. They didn't have to wait long. The Vex flagship, nearly twice the size of the Harbinger, fired a brilliant beam of energy that struck the shields of the UES Valiant, one of the human escort ships. Valiant reports shields holding at 82%, Ethan called out. They've never seen weapons like these before. The Vex clearly hadn't expected this resistance. Their next volley came faster, multiple ships targeting different Earth vessels simultaneously. The bridge shook as the Harbinger took a direct hit. Return fire, Green ordered. Target weapon systems only. Earth's ships responded in perfect coordination. The Vex, expecting their initial attack to cripple the human fleet, were caught unprepared. 2 Vex vessels lost weapons capability within minutes. But the Dominion hadn't conquered multiple star systems through easy surrender. 6 more Vex ships moved to flank the human fleet, unleashing a barrage that strained Earth's defenses. Shields at 58% and dropping, Derek reported as another impact rocked the ship. The Vex are adapting to our shield frequency. Dr. Wright, who had been analyzing the Vex attack patterns, looked up from her datapad. They're learning faster than expected. At this rate, they'll break through in 7 minutes. Green turned to Kate. Flight Officer Rodriguez, remember that maneuver you proposed in the Kuiper Belt training exercise? The one I said was too reckless. Kate's eyes widened, then a slow smile spread across her face. The Sungrazer, sir. You said it would get us all killed. I'm revising my opinion. Take us in. Kate's fingers flew across her controls. All ships, this is Harbinger. Prepare for Sungrazer pattern on my mark. The Earth fleet had been holding a defensive position, but now the Harbinger suddenly accelerated directly toward the Vex flagship. The move was so unexpected that the Vex gunners missed their next shots. Harmonics to maximum, Kate called out, diverting auxiliary power to forward shields. The Harbinger shot between 2 Vex destroyers, so close that crew members could see details on the alien hulls through the viewports. The other Earth ships followed in its wake, creating a spear formation that pierced the heart of the Vex fleet. Now, Green ordered. Every Earth ship simultaneously released a targeted electromagnetic pulse, a weapon the Vex had clearly never encountered. Their systems, optimized for energy efficiency, proved uniquely vulnerable. The Vex flagship drifted powerless, its weapons disabled. 4 other Vex vessels suffered similar fates. The remaining ships retreated to a safer distance, regrouping. Status, Green asked, as the bridge crew caught their breath. 3 of our ships reporting moderate damage, Ethan said, but all still operational. The Vex lost 5 vessels, not destroyed, but out of the fight. Lyran stepped forward, his large eyes wider than seemed possible. This is unprecedented. No one has ever repelled a Vex attack force of this size without massive casualties. Dr. Wright had been examining readings from the encounter. Commander, I'm detecting communications between the Vex and at least 3 other locations. Very powerful signals. I think they're calling for reinforcements, or reporting what just happened. Green nodded grimly. We've surprised them, but that advantage won't last. Actually, Dr. Wright said, looking up with a mix of surprise and excitement, I don't think they're the only ones surprised. According to these readings, we're being scanned by at least 5 different sources, and none of them are Vex. The observers Lyran mentioned, Green realized. Yes, Lyran confirmed. The galactic community is watching. And after what you just demonstrated, I suspect they're reassessing everything they thought they knew about humans. The Nilari transport docked with the Harbinger through an ingeniously compatible airlock system. Commander Green, Dr. Wright, and Security Chief Mason waited as the pressure equalized and the door slid open. First Speaker Laren stepped through, flanked by two taller Nilari. In person, they were even more striking. Their blue skin had a subtle iridescence, and their four-fingered hands moved with fluid grace. They stood nearly 7 feet tall, but moved as if weightless. "Welcome aboard," Green said with a small bow, mimicking Lyran's earlier gesture. "The gratitude of our people cannot be adequately expressed," Lyran replied. "We have observed your species for decades, but we never expected to meet under these circumstances." Dr. Wright's eyes widened. "You've been watching Earth. Many spacefaring species monitor developing worlds," one of Lyran's companions explained. "Standard protocol is non-interference until a species develops wormhole technology independently." "Which you did far sooner than our models predicted," Lyran added. "Humans are. Surprising." The delegation moved to the conference room, where officers from the other Earth ships joined via hologram. The Nilari explained their situation. They were a peaceful, scientifically advanced civilization that had refused to join the expanding Vex Dominion, a militaristic empire controlling dozens of star systems. "The Vex believe strength is the only virtue," Lyran said. "Our refusal to surrender our independence has made us targets." "But you have advanced technology," Derek pointed out. "Why not defend yourselves?" The Nilari exchanged glances. "Our people abandoned warfare millennia ago. We have defensive capabilities, but our ethics prevent us from developing weapons." "Noble, but not very practical when facing the Vex," Kate muttered. Later, in the science lab, Dr. Wright made a discovery. While examining Nilari physiology with their permission, she noticed unusual readings when they interacted with Earth technology. "Commander, you need to see this," she called Green over. Green watched as Olivia displayed brain scans of both species. Humans have a unique neurological pattern that allows more intuitive integration with certain technologies. The Nilari can't operate some systems that we use without thinking. Is that why they seemed surprised by our defensive capabilities? Exactly. Our ships use neural response systems the Nilari can't effectively utilize. And the Vex, from what I've learned, have a completely different biological makeup that creates other limitations. A message interrupted them. The Vex had returned with a larger fleet, demanding communication. On the bridge, Green faced the Vex commander on screen. The alien was reptilian with gray scales and yellow eyes that showed no emotion. "Your interference was unexpected," the Vex commander stated. "We offer one opportunity to withdraw. The Nilari criminals will face Dominion justice." Green stood firm. "The Nilari are under our protection. We propose neutral negotiations." The Vex commander made a harsh sound that might have been laughter. "Negotiations are for equals. You are newcomers who do not understand your place." The transmission ended abruptly. "Charming fellow," Kate said, returning to her flight controls. Lyran entered the bridge, concern evident on his face. "Commander, the Vex never negotiate. They will attack with everything they have." "Then we'll be ready," Green replied. Later, as the Earth fleet prepared for battle, Lyran revealed another surprising fact to Green and Dr. Wright. "Your arrival has attracted attention beyond the Vex. 4 other major species have dispatched observers to this region." Lyran's large eyes blinked slowly. "Humanity's handling of this situation is being watched very carefully." "No pressure," Green said with a grim smile. Dr. Wright studied data from their initial skirmish with the Vex. "Their weapons are impressive, but they don't adapt quickly. And they seem completely unfamiliar with our defensive shield harmonics. An advantage we should use," Derek added. As the Vex fleet approached, Green gathered his officers one last time. "What happens in the next few hours won't just determine our fate, but potentially Earth's role in this new galactic community. We came to make first contact, not fight a war." But sometimes history doesn't give you a choice. He looked around at the faces of humanity's first interstellar representatives. The Vex expect us to retreat. Let's show them, and everyone else watching, what humans do instead. The aftermath of battle brought an uneasy quiet. The disabled Vex ships drifted silently while the others maintained distance, seemingly waiting for something. On the Harbinger's bridge, Commander Green studied tactical displays showing multiple unidentified vessels at the edge of their sensor range. The observers. They're being careful to stay neutral, Ethan noted, but they're definitely watching everything we do. A message from the Nilari science vessel arrived, requesting an urgent meeting. Within the hour, Green, Dr. Wright, and Security Chief Mason gathered in the conference room, where first speaker Liran waited with another Nilari, an elder with pale blue skin and eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. "This is Elder Varen," Liran introduced, "our most respected historian." Varen placed a small device on the table. It projected a holographic image of Earth, then zoomed to show something buried deep in the planet's crust. "We suspected," Varen began, voice soft but clear, "but now we are certain. The reason the Vex attacked us, the real reason they have been watching your world, is this." The hologram shifted to reveal an intricate network of structures beneath Earth's surface, undetectable by human technology. "What am I looking at?" Green asked. "Precursor technology," Varen answered. "From those who came before all of us, the most advanced civilization this galaxy has ever known. They vanished 50,000 years ago, but their technology remains. Some of it on Earth, buried deep where you could not detect it." Dr. Wright leaned forward. "How long have you known about this?" "We discovered traces 20 years ago. The Vex learned of it more recently. They've been hunting precursor artifacts across the galaxy, and neither of you thought to inform us." Derek asked, his voice sharp. Lyran looked down. "Contact protocols forbade it. A species must discover interstellar travel independently. Green processed this information. So the Vex weren't attacking you specifically. They were trying to get to Earth." "Yes," Varen confirmed. "But what neither we nor the Vex realized until today was that humans have a unique connection to this technology." Dr. Wright's eyes widened. "The neurological patterns I discovered." "Precisely." Varen activated another hologram showing DNA sequences. "Humans bear genetic markers identical to the precursors. You are their descendants." Silence fell across the room as the implications sank in. "You're saying humans are aliens?" Derek finally asked. "Not exactly," Varen explained. "The precursors seeded many worlds, experimenting with different evolutionary paths. Earth was special, a world where they invested the most effort. Your species evolved naturally, but with their potential encoded in your DNA." Commander Green stood and paced the room. "That's why our technology worked so well against the Vex. We've been accidentally building on precursor principles." "Without even knowing it," Dr. Wright whispered. "The Vex now understand what you are," Lyran said gravely, "and they will stop at nothing to either control Earth or destroy it. They cannot allow humans to access your full inheritance." As if on cue, Ethan's voice came through the comm system. "Commander, the Vex flagship is powering up again. Something big." Green rushed back to the bridge with the others following. The Vex flagship had indeed reactivated, but now it was glowing with energy readings off the charts. "That's not standard weapons charging," Kate reported. "It's like they've overridden all safety protocols. They're going to self-destruct," Dr. Wright realized, studying the readings. "The blast would destroy everything in this sector." "A final solution," Lyran said softly. "If they cannot have the precursor technology, no one will." Green faced his crew. "Options. We could retreat through the wormhole," Derek suggested, "and lead them back to an unprepared Earth." Green shook his head. "Not happening." "There might be another way," Dr. Wright said, eyes fixed on her data. "Commander, remember how our neural patterns interact with technology. The Harbinger's systems are more compatible with precursor tech than we realized." Green understood immediately. You think we can interface directly with whatever's buried on Earth? From here, with the right carrier signal, she confirmed. The Nilari can help calibrate it. Do it, Green ordered. Everyone else, prepare for potential evacuation. As Dr. Wright and the Nilari scientists worked frantically, the Vex flagship began its final countdown. The future of humanity now depended on accessing technology they hadn't known existed from ancestors they never knew they had. Dr. Wright's fingers danced across the console as she worked alongside two Nilari scientists. Sweat beaded on her forehead while the countdown to the Vex flagship's self-destruction continued relentlessly. The carrier signal is ready, she announced. But we need something to amplify it. Something with human neural patterns. Commander Green stepped forward without hesitation. Use me. Alex, it could be dangerous, Olivia warned. We're out of options and out of time. The Nilari attached slender devices to Green's temples while Dr. Wright calibrated the final settings. The bridge crew watched in tense silence as the commander closed his eyes, his breathing steady despite everything. Initiating connection in 3, 2, 1. Green gasped as the signal activated. His mind suddenly expanded beyond the ship, beyond physical space itself. He felt Earth, distant but connected, and something ancient stirring beneath its surface, responding to his presence, recognizing him. It's working, one of the Nilari scientists whispered in awe. Across space, beneath Earth's crust, dormant systems activated for the first time in 50,000 years. A pulse of energy, invisible to human instruments, but blindingly clear to Green's connected consciousness, shot outward, crossing the vast distance almost instantly. Just as the Vex flagship reached critical overload, the pulse hit. The massive vessel froze, its power systems suddenly under external control. The self-destruct sequence halted. Green opened his eyes, shaking slightly. I can feel it, he said, voice filled with wonder. The precursor network. It's like it was waiting for us. The remaining Vex ships began to retreat rapidly, their commanders clearly recognizing a power beyond their comprehension. On the Harbinger's bridge, Ethan reported incoming transmissions from the observer vessels. They're requesting permission to approach, sir. All of them. Over the next 24 hours, representatives from 5 different galactic civilizations came aboard the Harbinger. The Myriad Collective, the Solarian Republic, the HFY Dominion, the Ventari Fellowship, and the Thrux Confederation. Species that had observed humanity from afar now came face to face with Earth's representatives. In the Harbinger's main conference room, Green and his senior staff sat alongside Liren and Elder Varen as the galactic delegates took their places. The atmosphere was charged with historic significance. We had not anticipated this development, said the Solarian delegate, a crystalline being that shimmered with internal light. Humanity was assessed as a minor power. That assessment was incorrect. The balance of power has shifted, agreed the reptilian HFY representative. The Vex Dominion has terrorized this sector for centuries. Their retreat opens new possibilities. The discussion that followed would reshape the galaxy. The Vex, without their advantage of superior firepower, were forced to withdraw their claims on Nilari territory. More significantly, Earth, previously unknown and isolated, was recognized as a major power with unique technological potential. We propose a coalition, Liren suggested, with Earth as a founding member. Not based on military strength, but on mutual respect and cooperation. The delegates debated for hours, but the outcome was clear. A new galactic order was emerging, with humanity in a pivotal role no one could have predicted. 2 weeks later, the Earth fleet prepared for the journey home. The Harbinger's observation deck was crowded with officers watching as the coalition's founding charter was signed. The document acknowledged Earth's sovereignty and established protocols for technology sharing and mutual defense. Commander Green stood with Dr. Wright, watching the historic moment. "Not bad for our first week in interstellar politics," he said quietly. Olivia smiled. "We came looking for new friends and found our family history instead." "What do you think Earth will make of all this?" Green wondered. "Everything will change," she replied. "Our understanding of ourselves, our place in the universe. Nothing will ever be the same." As the Earth fleet activated their wormhole generators for the return journey, messages of goodwill flooded in from their new allies. Humanity was going home, but not as the same species that had left. They were returning as heirs to an ancient legacy and architects of a new future, one where Earth stood not as a solitary blue planet, but as a founding member of a galactic community. The Harbinger led the way into the wormhole, carrying news that would transform human civilization forever. Behind them, representatives of a dozen worlds watched them go, already preparing for the day humanity's fleet would return. And on Earth, still unaware of their new place in the cosmos, billions of people went about their lives, not yet knowing that everything had changed.